Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to give you APPSC Degree Lecturers Botany previous question paper. The test was conducted during the month of July 2025. So, let's see the questions one by one. Let's see the first question. What is the characteristic feature of the temperature deciduous forest biomes climate? Options are mild temperatures and low precipitation year around, warm but not hot summers and relatively high precipitation in all seasons, hot summers and high precipitation in all seasons, cold winters and dry summers. For this, the correct answer is warm but not hot summers and relatively high precipitation in all seasons. So that is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is not a factor to determine hot areas? Options are number of total species, number of lost species, number of unique species, number of species at risk. For this, the correct answer is number of lost species is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which secondary metabolite is produced through cell cultures of Taxus bacca? Options are chiconin, berberin, ginseng, taxol. For this, the correct answer is taxol is the correct answer. So let's see the next question. What is physiological hypothalamusm? So options are male and female sex organs develop on the same thallus but show self-incompatibility. Male and female reproductive organs on the different thalluses but show self-incompatibility. Male and female reproductive organs on different thalluses. Male and female reproductive organs on the same thallus. For this, the correct answer is male and female sex organs they develop on the same thallus but they show the self incompatibility. So that is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following sequencing technologies is known for its ability to produce long read lengths? Options are next generation sequencing, Sanger sequencing, third generation sequencing, PCR based sequencing. For this, the correct answer is next generation sequencing is the correct answer. Match the following restoration techniques with their descriptions. So you have to match the list 1 with list 2. So I am going to match the list 1 with list 2. So biological augmentation is related to uses organisms to add essential materials to a degraded ecosystem. So bioremediation is related to utilizes organisms to remove harmful substances from an ecosystem. So artificial purchase is related to establishes structures for birds to use in restored ecosystems. So animal release and habitat corridor establishment, so which is related to aim to help wildlife reach and utilize restored ecosystems by establishing connections between habitats. So the correct answer is fourth one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Cell lineages derived from the terminal cell and embryo proper will specify all of the following except. Options are shoot meristem, the suspensor, the hypocotyl region, the cotyledons. For this, the correct answer is the suspensor is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Here the matching type question is given. So you have to match the list 1 with list 2. Here I am going to match the list 1 with list 2. List 2 consists bryophyta. List 1 consists medicinal use of that bryophyte. So I am going to match. So pulmonary tuberculosis, an affliction of the liver, is cured by Markantia species. Acute hemorrhage and disease of the eye is cured by the decoction of sphagnum. Stone of the kidney and gallbladder is cured by Polytrichum commune. So the answer is fourth one. Okay, that is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following conclusions is true based on the statement? Statement is peroxidases and free radicals damage all components of cells including proteins, DNA and lipids. Conclusion 1. Some reactive oxygen species act as cellular messengers in cell signaling. Conclusion 2. Reactive oxygen species can be beneficial in the immune system. So for this the correct answer is options are neither conclusion 1 nor 2 is true. Both conclusion 1 and 2 are true. Only conclusion 1 is true. Only conclusion 2 is true. For this the correct answer is second one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following options is correct with respect to golden rice? It includes bacterial genes that produce a toxin that reduces damage from insect pests. It contains transgenes that increase vitamin A content. It is resistant to various herbicides, making it practical to weed rice fields with those herbicides. It produces larger golden grains that increase crop yields. For this, the correct answer is it contains transgenes that increase vitamin A content. That is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following initiation factors prevents 40s 60s joining? Options are EF1, EIF, initiation factor 1, initiation factor 6, initiation factor 4, initiation factor 2. For this the correct answer is initiation factor 6 is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. The apoendemics are options are derived from a taxon of a different chromosome number, restricted polyploids that give rise to diploids, restricted diploids that give rise to polyploids, derived from a taxon of the same chromosome number. For this the correct answer is restriction diploids that give rise to polyploids is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is a demerit of Hutchinson's system of classification? Options are monophyletic view regarding the origin of angiosperms is not universally accepted. The classification does not include any information about the origin of angiosperms. The arrangement of monocots is unnatural and unphylogenetic. Composite or Asteraceae has been placed in the beginning of Gamopetalae, which is unnatural. For this, the correct answer is monophyletic view regarding the origin of angiosperms is not universally accepted. Let's see the next question. What is the purpose of suspending protoplasts in a medium of low conductivity prior to cell electrofusion? So options are to destabilize the plasma membrane and facilitate the cell division, to stabilize the plasma membrane and prevent osmotic shock during the fusion process, to induce genetic mutations in the protoplast and promote diversity, to increase the conductivity of the medium and enhance the fusion efficiency. For this, the correct answer is to stabilize the plasma membrane and prevent osmotic shock during the fusion process. That is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is incorrect and about alternate oxidase pathway? For this, the correct options are salicyl hydroxamic acid is an activator of this pathway. It involves reduction of oxygen to water by the transfer of 4 electrons. Cyanide application may trigger the alternate oxidase mediated pathway. It is associated with prevention of over reduction of ubiquinone complex. For this, the correct answer is salicyl hydroxamic acid is an activator of this pathway. That is the incorrect about alternate oxidase pathway. Let's see the next question. The metabolism of one of the products of the following pathway involves 3 organelles: chloroplast, mitochondria and peroxisome. Options are oxidative phosphorylation, photorespiration, Kelvin cycle, CAM pathway. For this, the correct answer is photorespiration is the correct answer. Which of the following statement is correct about RECD enzyme? Options are it is a 3 to 5 prime helicase and amino terminal region is composed of two domains. It composed of three domains, 1, 2, 3, and it is a 5 to 3 prime helicase. Domain 3 is structurally incapable of nuclease activity. It contains three domains, and domain 1 and 2 are structurally homologous to SF1 helicases. For this, the correct answer is RECD enzyme. It is composed of three domains. They are 1, 2, 3, and it is 5 to 3 prime helicase. Let's see the next question. Select the option that is correct regarding the following two statements labeled assertion and reason. So assertion is different types of secondary compounds have been isolated and identified from fungi. Reasoning is the biocontrol potential of fungi is due to their large source of bioactive compounds and their capability to combat numerous crop diseases. So options are assertion A is true and reason is false. Assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Assertion is false and reason is true. Both assertion and reason are the true, and the reason is correct explanation of assertion A. For this, the correct answer is fourth one, that is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. The 700 nanometer structure of packed chromatin is seen in the options are metaphase chromosome, telophase chromosome, anaphase chromosome, prophase chromosome. For this, the correct answer is metaphase chromosome is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Kit Taroji culture medium was used for inoculating samples from pulpitis patient. Which type of microorganism can be found from this culture method? Options are hemolytic, acidophilic, anaerobic, acid resistant. For this, the correct answer is anaerobic is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is not an advantage of RAPD over RFLP? Options are much simpler and less expensive. No need for radioactive probes. Better reliability and reproducibility. No prior knowledge of sequences is required. For this, the correct answer is better reliability and reproducibility is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. In which type of self-incompatibility is the stigma covered with hydrated layers of protecting pellicle? So for this, the options are sporophytic system, tristyly system, distyly system, gametophytic system. For this, the correct answer is sporophytic system is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Select the option that is correct regarding the following two statements labeled assertion and reason. Assertion is reduction of nitrate to ammonium takes place in the chloroplast. Reasoning, this process consumes 6 electrons supplied by the ferredoxin. For this, the options are assertion is false and reason is true. Assertion is true and reason is false. Both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. For this, the correct answer is both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. See the next question. Select the option that is correct regarding the following two statements labeled assertion and reason. Assertion is acidification of the vacuoles is seen in the many plants. Reason is this happens due to the presence of H plus ATPase and H plus pyrophosphatase. Options are both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is the not correct explanation of assertion. Assertion is false and reason is true. Assertion is true and reason is false. For this, the correct answer is both the reason and assertion are true, and reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. That is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Select the option that is correct regarding the following two statements labeled assertion and reason. Assertion, the genome of the phase T4 Reynolds more rapidly than the larger genome of E. coli. Reason, COT1/2 decreases with the decreasing genome size. Options are assertion is false, reason is true. Both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion A. Assertion A is true and the reason is false. As both assertion and reason are true, but the reason is not the correct explanation of assertion A. For this, the correct answer is second one, that is the correct answer. Let's see the matching. So here you have to match the list 1 with list 2. So list 1 consists control system and list 2 consisting mechanism. So I'm going to match the list 1 with list 2. Resistance gene, that is related to recognition of virulence products. Phenolics and phytoalexins, that they are related to uh, antimicrobial compounds. Salicylic acid and actin, that is related to introduction of cell death and uh, clearance of pathogens. So second one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Our body synthesizes most lipids, but we require omega 3 and 6 fatty acids from our diet. Plants produce some beneficial lipids without producing harmful trans fats or cholesterol, making plant based lipids a harmful choice. So conclusion 1, while plant based lipids are generally considered healthful, excessive consumption of certain oils such as flaxseed oil may pose health risks due to their low smoke points, so leading to the formation of harmful compounds when used for frying. So conclusion 2 is essential omega 3 and 6 fatty acids are obtained by animal fat. So among these you have to pick the correct conclusion and conclusion 1 and 2. Okay. So options are both conclusion 1 and 2 are true, conclusion 2 only, neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2, conclusion 1 only. For this, the correct answer is neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Match the following columns. So here two lists are given. You have to match the list 1 with list 2. I'm going to match the list 1. Class is related to Magnoliopsida. Tribe is related to second one, that is Magnoliae. So division, that is related to Magnoliophyta. So the correct answer is second one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following conclusions are true based on the statement? Statement is in parasexuality, genetic recombination occurs in somatic cells by the mechanism of mitotic crossing over. Conclusion 1. The strains of desirable characters can be developed through mitotic recombinations. Conclusion 2. Parasexuality can be applied in the analysis of genetic and physiological processes of perfect and imperfect fungi. For this, the correct answer is, so the options are neither conclusion 1 nor 2, only conclusion 1. For this, the correct answer is both conclusion 1 and conclusion 2 are true. Let's see the next question. Which of the following statements is incorrect about transport of proteins? Options are secondary active transporters move two molecules at the same time. Both ATP pumps and antiporters hydrolyze ATP. So symporters transport one molecule against its concentration gradient and ions along their gradient. Uniporters transport one molecule at a time against its concentration gradient. So for this, the correct answer is both ATP pumps and antiporters hydrolyze ATP is the correct answer. So let's see the next question. Select the option that is correct regarding the following two statements labeled assertion and reason. Assertion is synaptomorphies are the basis for cladistics. Reasoning is the basic idea behind cladistics is that members of a group share a common evolutionary history. So for this, the correct answer is both assertion and reason are true, and the reason R is the correct explanation of the assertion A. Let's see the next question. Here also you have to match the list 1 with list 2. So I'm going to match the list 1. Bioinformatics is related to molecular biology in silico. So 3600 genes is related to genes could be assigned a function in Saccharomyces cerevisiae. 2400 genes is related to orphan in Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Gene annotation is related to the process of identifying the location, structure, function and other characteristics of genes within a genome. That is the correct answer. That means first one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. What was the primary objective of the Silent Valley movement initiated by Kerala's Sastra Sahitya Parishad? So, for these options are to establish a wildlife sanctuary in Silent Valley, to construct a dam in Silent Valley, to promote tourism in Silent Valley, to prevent the destruction of Silent Valley due to the government dam project. For this, the correct answer is to prevent the destruction of Silent Valley due to the government dam project is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following conclusions is true based on the statement? William Roxburgh toured India extensively for plant exploration. Conclusion 1, he is known as Linnaeus of India. Conclusion 2 is his collections were published in 1825 by D. Don in Prodromus Florae. Prodromus Florae. So options are neither 1 nor 2. Conclusion 2 is true. Both 1 and 2. Only conclusion 1 is true. For this, the correct answer is only conclusion 1 is true. Let's see the next question. Select the correct option based on the two statements labeled assertion and reasoning. So, assertion is the IUCN classifies threatened species into various categories based on their risk of extinction. Reasoning is the IUCN identifies habitat destruction as the primary cause for 71.3% of species that have become extinct, endangered, vulnerable, and rare in the last few hundred years. For this, the correct answer is both the assertion and reasoning are true, and the reasoning is correctly explains the assertion is the true. That means the third one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Plants with which gene mutants fail to organize a shoot apical meristem in the embryo? Options are clavata 3, clavata 2, clavata 1, ooze shell. For this, the correct answer is fourth one. Ooze shell is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is a characteristic of Arctic tundra soil? For this, options are high pH soils, dark fertile topsoil, poor in nitrogen, sandy soil. For this, the correct answer is sandy soil is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Here also you have to match the list 1 with list 2. I am going to match the list 1. So with list 2, somatic embryogenesis is related to process where the embryos are formed directly in the culture. So totipotency is related to ability of single cell to recapitulate embryogenesis without an intervening reproductive phase is the correct answer. So Kalanche is related to the genus where somatic embryogenesis can occur in intact plants without the loss of tissue integrity. Clonal propagation, which is related to a sexual mechanism preserved in some plant species for reproduction through identical copies. For this, the correct answer is third one. So let's see the next question. Deamination of which of the following bases does not lead to mutation? Options are deamination of cytosine, deamination of guanine, deamination of both adenine and cytosine, deamination of adenine. For this, the correct answer is deamination of guanine is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. What are the names of two powerful antibiotic drugs produced by Catharonthus roseus? Anti-cancer drugs. So for these options are vinblastine, vincristin, vincorin and vinpocetine, vinorelbine, vinflunine, vinblastine and vinorelbine. So for this, the correct answer is vincristin and vinblastine are the correct one. Let's see the next question. Which governmental department in India established gene banks in 1992 for the conservation of medicinal and aromatic plants, including the Tropical Botanical Garden and Research Institute? For this, the options are Ministry of Environment and Forest, Climate Change, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Department of Biotechnology. For this, the correct answer is Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. The XYZ and block systems are used for hybrid seed production in which of the following pairs of plants? Options are tomato and sunflower, rice and groundnut, wheat and cotton, onion and sorghum. For this, the correct answer is wheat and cotton is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is not a salient feature of polytrichalis? Options are the capsule is terminal, the gametophyte is perennial and tall, the single annular series of cells gives rise to a peristome in the outer zone of the amphitheecium. The leaves are narrow and possess longitudinal lamella on the upper surface of the midrib. For this, the correct answer is peristome in the outer zone of the amphitheecium. That is the correct one. Let's see the next question. Which legislation laid the groundwork for the establishment of sanctuaries and tiger reserves in India? Options are Environmental Protection Act, Biodiversity Conservation Act, Forest Conservation Act, Wildlife Protection Act is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. What are the expected counts in a chi-square test? Options are hypothetical counts that would occur if the null hypothesis were true, long run counts that would be expected if the observed counts are representative, actual counts that did occur in the observed data, hypothetical counts that would occur if the alternative hypothesis were true. For this, the correct answer is the first one. Let's see the next question. What is a consequence of high yielding varieties HYV in agriculture? Options are decrease in soil productivity due to monoculture practices, nitrate pollution leading to blue baby syndrome in infants, reduction in algal bloom occurrence in nearby water bodies, balanced micronutrient levels. For this, the correct answer is the second one is the correct answer. Okay friends, thank you for watching. I'll give you the remaining questions in the next video. Thank you.